My name's Erik Frieberg. I'm the CMO of Solo.io. We're an application networking company, really focused on API gateway and service mesh industries. We use Instruqt for our entire learning lab called Solo Academy. So we have both online and on-demand classes, and Instruqt is a critical piece of that infrastructure. I actually used Instruqt for a previous company and had a great experience, and the minute I came to Solo and we started building out our academy, I knew Instruqt was the product we wanted to use. So with Instruqt, it allows us to build up a learning environment literally on demand. So before, you had to provision infrastructure, you had to set it up, it took time, you had over-provisioning, and then you had to tear it down at the end. With Instruqt, it just builds on demand. So if we have 75 people coming to a class, we get 75 seats. If we have 500, we get 500. And so those are the workshops. And for the on-demand classes, it allows us to build an environment for every person. In fact, I think we're the only vendor providing on-demand, hands-on education in our marketplace. I think it was a number of things. I think one was just lower cost infrastructure compared to like the environment I just described. I think the other was just the flexibility and not having to have almost a dedicated person designing, building, spinning up labs, handing out keys, and then after the lab was over, turning the whole thing off. Yeah, I mean, you would have, it was almost like a multiple levels. You'd have one person who would architect this out, and they might spend, days spending it. And then before the lab, it would take us hours for a person to build up all the environments. I remember entire spreadsheets of keys and handing them out and administering them. And then after the workshop, some people might ask, can I have a couple extra hours? And you would be like, let me make sure I turn off the right ones because I don't want to shut down the guy who's still using the lab. And then, oh my God, I forgot, and this thing's been running for 3 days and I've been paying a bill for 3 days. So it was, multiple people, many hours. It was a big headache. So we used a couple of different cloud platforms. We also tried another on-demand platform that honestly just didn't work. So, besides the obvious that it worked, no, it was just a great environment. It was easy to build up. The whole development experience within Instruqt of how you build labs. So it's not just a blank lab, but you can add instructions and guidance and all kinds of other things to help the class along. So it was really a number of things from the user experience that we can deliver, as well as the admin tools and the courses and what we can do behind the scenes. I think Instruqt is a no-brainer decision. I think this product just works. It's been a fantastic experience. I would highly recommend it. It's not necessarily a feature, it just works. You have a total reliability. It's interesting because when we have workshops, you're there in the workshop and you see it and you know if there's an issue. But with all of our on-demand courses, we literally have 1,000 people that at 4 in the morning, somebody might be running this and no one's available to help them, but you just know it works because we never get an email saying, hey, I started the lab, but it didn't spin up or it didn't work. So the fact that just I sleep at night and it just works is my favorite feature. So our company is very education focused. So we've had over 8,000 people go through our on-demand and online labs. And so that in essence is a big part of our go-to-market. So we have a lot of leads and interest come in from that. In fact, at the show here, one of the things we say is, you know what, if you're going to walk away from the show, do 2 things. Join our Slack, try one of our workshops. It's what we tell every attendee at the show to go do. I think for us, there's a lot of mystery. You say things like Istio and service mesh, and we sell to a developer audience, and they're like, okay, great, but I want to experience the product. What does it actually do? And so now we can deliver this workshop or hands-on experience where there's no mystery. They see it, they can run commands, they in essence can interact with the product right away. I can tell you that we have many people at this show and others come up to us and go, oh my God, I love your workshops, they're fantastic. And so it's interesting that a few people know what's Instruqt behind the scenes, but we just have literally raving fans that love the workshops, love the on-demand training. After every workshop we do an NPS score and we have sky-high ratings for our NPS. It's one of the most valued assets we have.